Stop. Right now. Because what I'm about to tell you will either rip you out of mediocrity forever, or you'll ignore it and stay the same fragile man you've been for the last 10 years. 3 days ago, I watched a man talk, beg, for 20 long minutes, trying to explain himself to someone who didn't respect him, didn't value him, and didn't deserve a single second of his time. This man thought words would save him. That if he talked enough, pleaded enough, justified enough, he'd earn respect. He didn't realize he was just burying himself deeper in weakness. And here's the truth that's going to sting. These men are everywhere. Maybe you are one of them. Maybe you've been overlooked, underestimated, treated like background noise while life chews you up and spits you out. Not because you were born weak. No. You were trained to be weak. Conditioned to be agreeable. Predictable. Obedient. The world programmed you to be easy to control. But 5 centuries ago, a man called Machiavelli uncovered the real rules of power, the laws that don't make it into polite conversation because they're too raw, too brutal, too effective. And today, I'm handing you those principles like a loaded weapon. Because this is about becoming the kind of man who doesn't get ignored. The man who walks into a room and instantly shifts the energy. The man who speaks once, and people lean in to listen. The man who draws a line and dares anyone to cross it. I'm talking about becoming the man who can't be manipulated, can't be intimidated, can't be stopped. And here's your warning. Once you learn these truths, you'll never see the world the same way again. Because once you know how power really works, there's no going back to being soft, predictable, and powerless. So if you're ready, drop this in the comments. I refuse to be controlled. I refuse to be stopped. Let's begin. 1. Transform the inner self. Inside you, 2 men are fighting for control. One is desperate for approval, addicted to apologizing, weak. The other is ruthless, confident, untouchable. Every day you feed one and starve the other. Your weak self was built by society. Parents who wanted you nice. Teachers who wanted you obedient. A system that rewards compliance, not dominance. But let's make this clear, obedient men don't build empires. They get used. They get ignored. They get forgotten. And every time you explain yourself to someone who disrespects you, every time you let someone waste your time, every time you let someone walk across your boundaries, you are starving the strong self and feeding the weak one. Machiavelli said it best. He who is not master of himself will always be a servant to others. The weak self makes excuses. It says, I don't want to hurt their feelings. Maybe I misunderstood. I should give them another chance. The strong self doesn't negotiate. It enforces. When someone crosses the line, consequences fall. When someone wastes your time, they lose access. When someone disrespects you, silence becomes your revenge. This transformation is not emotional, it's tactical. You don't try to be strong. You decide to be. Every day. Every choice. Every boundary. Because on the other side of that decision is a man who commands respect without ever asking for it. Drop this in the comments. My weak self dies today. My strong self rises. 2. Build the fortress mind. Weak men have fragile minds. Every insult cuts them. Every setback breaks them. Every challenge turns them into emotional wreckage. You will be different. You will build a fortress mind, an inner stronghold no one can breach. Criticism. You don't get offended. You gather intel. Disrespect. You don't react emotionally. You mark it, file it, and respond strategically. Setbacks? You don't whine. You adapt, adjust, attack again. Most men are slaves to feelings. Anger drives them. Fear paralyzes them. Sadness consumes them. Your fortress mind flips the script. Anger equals information about crossed boundaries. Fear equals proof you're leveling up. Pain equals data about who really stands with you. Because here's the truth, when you control your mind, you control your world. No emotional outbursts. No begging for closure. No explaining yourself to people who deserve silence. You move like a chess player, 3 moves ahead, unshaken by anything. Drop this in the comments. My mind is a fortress. My emotions serve me, not control me. 3. Master the art of silence. Weak men can't stop talking. They explain. They defend. They argue for validation they should never need. But here's the secret, silence is a weapon. The man who speaks less, commands more. The man who explains nothing, controls everything. Because the moment you justify yourself to someone, you hand them power. Influential men don't debate clowns. They don't explain to fools. They don't argue with critics. They act. They enforce. They move forward. Silence creates mystery. Mystery creates respect. Respect creates influence. And when you do speak, every word cuts like a blade. Because silence isn't weakness. Silence is the roar of a man who doesn't need to prove himself. Drop this in the comments. I speak rarely. I speak with power. 4. Control the battlefield. Weak men drift through life like leaves in the wind. They let the world set the rules, other people set the pace, and circumstances dictate outcomes. Predators don't play that game. They control the terrain. They set the tempo. They choose the time, place, and rules of engagement. When you control the battlefield, you control outcomes. In conversations, you lead the frame. People react to you. In negotiations, you set terms, deadlines, and consequences. In relationships, you dictate boundaries that are non-negotiable. Understand this, the man who sets the frame wins before the first move. Stop reacting to life. Start shaping it. Stop waiting. Start taking command. If someone disrespects you, you choose the response. If a situation turns chaotic, you choose the timing of your next move. Control kills chaos. Structure crushes uncertainty. Power flows to the man who dictates reality. Drop this in the comments. I control the battlefield. I set the rules. 5. Weaponize time and attention. Losers give their time away like it's worthless. They answer every text. Entertain every distraction. Say yes to every request. Predators treat time like blood in the desert, rare, valuable, and not given lightly. You want power? Start by starving people of your presence. Don't respond instantly. Make them wait. Don't be everywhere. Be scarce. Don't give unlimited access. Make them earn it. Because attention is leverage. The less available you are, the more valuable you become. Weak men spread themselves thin. Powerful men are hard to reach, impossible to waste, and unforgettable when they appear. Machiavelli said, "Men desire what they cannot have." Starve people of access, and watch their respect for you multiply. Drop this in the comments. My time is power. My attention is currency. 6. The power of fear and respect. Here's the truth polite society hides from you. It's better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both. Love without respect makes you weak. Fear without hatred makes you untouchable. This doesn't mean you walk around trying to scare people. It means you carry yourself with such conviction, such dominance, such controlled intensity, that people think twice before crossing you. Respect comes from boundaries. Fear comes from consequences. Weak men give unlimited chances. Powerful men make disrespect costly. Someone wastes your time, they lose access. Someone lies to you, they lose trust permanently. Someone disrespects you publicly, you end it publicly. The goal isn't cruelty, it's clarity. When people know crossing you has a price, they stop crossing you. Drop this in the comments. Respect is earned. Fear is taught. 7. Build strategic alliances. Predators don't move alone. They form alliances with people who bring strength, access, and opportunity. But here's the difference: weak men chase friendships. Powerful men build networks. You don't need drinking buddies. You need men who open doors, women who bring influence, allies who expand your power. And here's the rule: never ally with the weak. They bring problems, not solutions. Never ally with the emotional. They bring chaos, not strategy. Never ally with the envious. They bring betrayal, not loyalty. Your circle should sharpen you like a blade. If it doesn't, cut it away. Drop this in the comments: my alliances build empires. 8. The predator mindset. This is the final shift, the death of the old self. Predators don't ask for permission. They don't wait for opportunity. They don't chase approval, applause, or validation. They hunt. They strategize. They conquer. The predator mindset means you see the game for what it is, a battlefield of power, respect, and survival, and you play to win. Not recklessly, not emotionally, but ruthlessly and strategically. Because life doesn't give power to the man who waits. It gives power to the man who takes. When you adopt this mindset, you stop hoping for respect, and start commanding it. You stop explaining yourself to people beneath you, and start moving with such certainty that they either rise to your level or vanish from your life. The weak self dies. The fortress mind takes over. The predator emerges. Drop this in the comments: the old me is dead. The predator has risen. The final war cry. Listen to me carefully. The man you were before this moment, he's gone. Buried. Dead, because once you've seen what power feels like, real power, you can't go back to being a victim. From this day forward, you move like a predator among sheep. No apologies. No explanations. No wasted words. You walk into a room like you own it because deep down, you do. You speak with purpose because silence is your weapon. You enforce boundaries like a king protects his throne because respect isn't requested, it's taken. The world isn't fair. It isn't gentle. It doesn't reward the nice guy who waits patiently for scraps. The world bows to the man who refuses to be ignored. So from this moment, you control your emotions. You dictate the pace. You make your presence rare and valuable. You punish disrespect instantly. You ally only with strength. And above all, you rise above the noise of weak men begging for approval while you build empires in silence. They will call you arrogant. They will call you ruthless. They will call you dangerous. Good. Because power has never belonged to the timid. This is your awakening. This is the birth of a man who can't be controlled, can't be manipulated, can't be broken. The predator has risen. And the world will never forget his name. Drop this in the comments. The predator has risen. I will never bow again. 9. No mercy for the old life. Hear me now, the world isn't short on men. It's drowning in them. Soft men. Loud men. Men with no teeth, no edge, no fire. Men who settle. Men who apologize for existing. That life? That man? He dies here. Because power doesn't come to the man who waits politely in line. Power comes to the man who takes without asking, moves without permission, and rules without apology. Mercy belongs to kings who have conquered. You haven't earned mercy yet. You don't give it to yourself, and you give even less to the weakness inside you. From today on, there is only war. War against mediocrity. War against hesitation. War against the version of you that tolerated disrespect, wasted time, and begged for scraps like a dog under the table. The man you were before today? He was prey. The man you are becoming? He's the hunter. And hunters do not explain. Hunters do not hesitate. Hunters do not beg. They take. They own. They rule. Drop this in the comments. The hunter has awakened. Weakness dies tonight.